Hi. Just catching up on some reading here. It's a book, the Metaphysical Manual 2. Apparently, it's a series of books dealing with metaphysics and parapsychology, and some of the weird stuff I guess us humans have to kind of deal with on a regular basis. These days, more so than any other, this chapter was fascinating to me. It's a chapter on the awakening symptoms. There's been some changes on this planet. Some of the changes, such as the Schumann resonance, and he mentions that in other parts of the book as well. The Schumann resonance is the frequency that the Earth sings, if you like, the tone, the sound. From space they can measure it, and during World War II they actually used it to bounce satellite and communication off of. It was so consistent they could use it for that. But something happened. It started to change. It started to shift. That frequency started to increase. What does that mean to us? Well, the frequencies that the Schumann resonance is now vibrating at, well, they're vibrating at a tone, at a sound, that they've proven in some of the scientific labs to have a significant influence on the psyche and the metaphysical presence of a human, to the point of actually activating and triggering DNA gene nodes and all sorts of crazy stuff inside of us. I'm not going to get into it in that big way. I really want to touch base a little bit on the awakening symptoms, though, just because I know a lot of you are going through this stuff, and this is awesome for me. My whole life, I've kind of been connected in that way, and what's fascinating to me is that right now there's a whole planet, you included, but there's a whole planet of people who are waking up, who are connecting with the world in sensory overload in a manner that they're not necessarily accustomed to. For whatever reason, and I have my theologies, of course, on this, but for whatever reason, we've come into this life a little bit sensory dumbed down. In other words, not everyone sees auras. Not everyone hears things. Clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. Not everybody has these on a regular basis. It's my belief system that everybody subconsciously does. But for whatever reason, we were born not accessing it on a conscious level. What makes a psychic and a medium different is they access that stuff on a conscious level. In other words, they can actually work with it, and they can receive all this input and do something with it inside themselves, within their brain or within their heart. Well, right now, the Schumann resonance and solar flares and all sorts of environmental conditions are triggering you to become much more of a human, a meta-human, compared to who you used to be. And, as the caterpillar kind of emerges from the cocoon into the butterfly, there's going to be some pretty interesting things that have to be taken care of and made aware of. Caterpillars don't fly. Butterflies do, right? And so now, you, the butterfly, you got some stuff you're going to have to pay attention to. But as you're stepping into that, if you just take care of some of the basics, some of these symptoms that you're experiencing these days, and sometimes just taking care of the basics means realizing that you're not alone. And they're not losing it. Well, you are losing it, but there's nothing I promise that you are losing that you need. Honest to goodness, there's nothing that the butterfly needs from the caterpillar in any way, shape, or form. You're becoming so much more than you used to be. So, what does this guy have to say about awakening symptoms? Well, I've got a whole list here. What I'm going to do is just kind of touch base on them real quick, offer a little paraphrase version, of what it is that he's teaching us here.